The story of Jean Marc Bosman, the player who changed football. When football fans support a club, they invest themselves entirely and wear the club's badge as a mark of honour. And it is the duty of the players representing the club to always ensure their fans go home happy and content. But at the end of the day, players are contracted employees who often seek their own benefits. And for this, they look to change clubs when their demands are not met at their current one. If the club resists, players must run their contracts out and move on a free transfer. But most fans aren't familiar with how the free transfers actually came about. Well, we're here to solve that mystery and tell you about the Bosman transfer. Haven't heard the name, have you? Anyway, let's dive into the fascinating story of Jean Marc Bosman, the player who changed football. But before we do that, we would really like it if you could click the like button to support the channel. Remember, we make these videos for free for your entertainment, and that is all we ask for in support. Hit the subscribe button while you're there too. All set? Go grab a nice cold beer and let's get into it. Let's look at who Jean Marc Bosman was and why he is the reason free transfers exist. Jean Marc Bosman was a midfielder that started his career at Standard Liège in 1983, before moving to RFC Liège, where his story really began. Bosman was an average footballer who the world would have forgotten if not for his off-the-field actions that had a global and everlasting impact on the beautiful game. It is important for all you football enthusiasts to first understand how transfers worked back in the day. While he isn't known for goal-scoring records or sublime assists like most of the legends, Bosman did something that would change the way world football handled transfers. Back in the golden age of football, when the social media we know today hadn't even been thought of, player transfers were a bit of a hassle. They were not as simple as they seem today, especially free transfers, where the contract of players expired and they were allowed to go wherever they pleased. During that era, players did not have the transfer power in their hands. Instead, it lied completely with their clubs. When a player's contract expired, they were still legally tied to the club. The club then decided whether to let the player go easily or charge a fee. Imagine that in today's world. Clubs that charged a fee for their out-of-contract players justified it as compensation for all the time and money they spent on the development of the player. Bosman also faced this unfortunate circumstance. In 1990, when Bosman played for RFC Liège, his contract expired and he sought to move to another club, USL Dunkirk. RFC Liège wanted a transfer fee for Bosman and asked for £500,000 at the time. Dunkirk did not want to pay that kind of money, and with no club interested at the time, Bosman's career came to a standstill. Liège offered him a new contract, but with a 75% decrease in pay. However, the problem stemmed deeper than just the transfer fee. A 3+2 nationality clause in European football prevented European teams from naming more than 3 foreign transfers and 2 foreign academy players in a game. Dunkirk had already filled their quota and would not have been able to play Bosman anyway. At this point, Bosman decided to pursue legal action and hired Luc Michon and Jean-Louis Dupont to represent him in court. The legal team sued everyone involved in the now fallen through transfer, including RFC Liège, UEFA and the Belgian FA. The case was presented in front of the European Court of Justice, and what followed was a long, tiring battle for Jean Marc Bosman to prevent what happened to him from happening to anyone else. The case tackled the issues of players being tied to the club even after their contracts expired, but also the nationality clause. Bosman's lawyers cited the 1957 Treaty of Rome, which stated that players had the right to play wherever they pleased in Europe. The legal battle lasted for 5 years, during which Bosman suffered great loss. His career was absolutely destroyed during the legal proceedings. Liège offered Bosman a pathetic contract which they expected him to take. However, Bosman refused. As a result, the Belgian FA banned him from playing. The ban, along with the case, made it difficult for Bosman to play anywhere else, as most clubs opted against signing him. Apart from short stints at 2 French clubs, Bosman's career was pretty much done for, all because he held all those who made his life difficult accountable. Clubs and associations all over the world stood against him, but what followed was nothing short of monumental. The date was 15th of December 1995. After 5 long years, Bosman's battle was about to come to an end, as the European Court of Justice had come to a decision that shook the footballing world to its core. The court ruled in favour of Bosman and said that the current system was only beneficial to the parent clubs. The ruling also completely abolished the nationality clause, and transfer power was given straight back to the players. With the new ruling, players were no longer tied to their parent clubs and could seek transfers elsewhere. They could also get into pre-agreements with clubs when a certain amount of time is left on their contracts, such as the 6-month rule we see in modern football. FIFA and UEFA had to get matters under control. They realised that clubs losing players on free transfers would no longer be compensated for their part in the players' development and training. That is why they soon came up with a new system that compensated clubs in a different manner, so that they could continue to develop young players. Even with the new compensation method in place, the ruling was historic and changed the face of transfers. Many players looked to reap the benefits of Bosman's struggle and seek free transfers. Edgar Davids was widely considered the first player to use the Bosman ruling to earn a free transfer in 1996, when he moved from Ajax to AC Milan. With the 3+2 nationality clause also blown out of existence, teams could field their best players regardless of their nationality. The most famous example for this is when Manchester United had to replace their first choice goalkeeper, Peter Schmeichel, due to the nationality clause, and ended up losing 4-0 to Barcelona in the Champions League. But with the clause no more, they fielded 8 foreign players in the Champions League final in 1999, a game they went on to win. Before we continue this buried story of how Jean Marc Bosman changed football, we'd like to know your opinion on the final verdict. Was transfer power better with the club or with the players? Let us know in the comments below. The Bosman ruling, as it's called today, is no doubt one of the most important turning points in modern day football. It changed the players' lives for the better and made success relatively easier. But the man behind this change, the one who grabbed the football lawmaking forces by the collar and defeated them, has yet to taste the fruit from the tree he planted all those years ago. That's right, Jean Marc Bosman's tale made transfers easier, but his own life miserable. Not only was his career destroyed ever since he pursued legal action, he suffered tremendous losses over the course of the battle. He wasn't playing in his prime, which meant he lost every chance of returning as a player after the ruling. Off the field, his marriage had ended and he was forced to move back to his parents' garage. To make things worse, when he did return to the game, the likes of FIFA and UEFA ignored him, and he had to make do with low-league football. Once he realised his professional career was over, Bosman went into depression and adopted a drinking habit. He received €300,000 in an out-of-court settlement, which he invested in business ventures. His run of bad luck stuck to him, however, and those ventures failed, leaving him with nothing. Bosman now lives below the poverty line and is supported by his 2 sons. And with that, we end the monumental yet tragic story of Jean Marc Bosman, the player who changed football forever. His contribution should have earned him a great name, but the sad reality is that not even the greatest football fanatics know his tale. We hope this video will help shed some light on the different legend of the game. If you stuck with us till here, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your post notifications. If you like this video, check out this one, and we will see you in the next video.